All right, thank you, Stan. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the July 15th, 2024 Hartford School Building Committee meeting. Agenda number 1, roll call. Mr. Little.
Good afternoon, Mr. Paul Drummond.
Present.
Councilman Clark, second.
Present.
Okay, we've been notified by Ms. Sherry Davis-Lewis that she wouldn't be able to attend today. Mr. Al Gary.
Present.
Mr. Edison Silva.
Present.
Mr. Clarence Corbin.
Present.
And Ms. Shantae Browdy. Okay, with four voting members present, we do have a quorum. Thank you and good afternoon again.
Thank you, Mr. Little. Appreciate you. All right, everyone. Item number 2 on the agenda, the acceptance of the minutes from the June 17, 2024 meeting. Is there a motion?
So move.
Councilman Clark. Second, Mr. Silva. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll move on to roll call. Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Gary.
Yes.
Mr. Silva.
Yes.
Mr. Corbin.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. All right, everyone, next on the agenda is public participation, item number 3. A little note here, due to the use of remote meeting format due to COVID protocols, public participation will be supported through the duration of this meeting by using the comments function on either YouTube, Facebook, or by emailing myself directly at paul.drumming@harvard.gov prior to and or during the meeting. At this time, I ask Mr. McCauley if there's any questions online.
There are no questions or comments at this time.
Thank you, Mr. McCauley. That being said, we're moving on to item number 4 on the agenda, administrative. There are no administrative items at this time, which brings us to item number 5 on the agenda, current projects under construction, Arcadis O&G CMR program management. 5A action items. Jack Buckus, please take it away.
Good afternoon. First item before us is change order number 23 to Newfield Construction for the Buckley High School renovation. The total value is a net credit of $2,028. These items have been reviewed and approved by the change order subcommittee, and we ask your endorsement.
Thank you, Jack. Is there a motion?
So move.
Okay.
Mr. Corbin, I'll give you the motion. Second?
Okay.
Second.
Second, Mr. Silva. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll move on to roll call. Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Gary.
Yes.
Mr. Silva.
Yes.
And Mr. Corbin.
Yes.
With 4 yeses, the motion carries. Jack, next, please.
Next, we have change order number 25 to Newfield Construction for the central admin portion of Buckley. This is a removal of an unknown oil tank. Total value is $8,841. This has been reviewed and approved by the change order subcommittee, and we ask for endorsement.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
So move. Yep.
We'll give Corbin, Mr. Corbin, the motion and Mr. Gary the second. Discussion?
Yeah.
Hearing none, we'll move on to roll call. Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Gary.
Yes.
Mr. Silva.
Yes.
And Mr. Corbin.
Yes.
With that, the motion carries. Jack? Next.
Next, we have change order number 25 to PDS for the Burns project. There's a string of extras predominantly covered by scope expansions that were budgeted into the recent project value increase. The total of these items is $302,232. These have also been reviewed and approved by the change order subcommittee, and we ask for endorsement.
Thank you, Jack. Is there a motion?
So move. So move.
Councilman Clark.
Yeah.
Is there a second? Mr. Gary, we'll give you the second.
Yeah.
Discussion? Hearing none, move on to roll call. Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Gary,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
and Mr. Corbin.
Yes.
All right, with 4 yeses, the motion carries. Moving on to builder's risk check.
Next item before us is an extension of the builder's risk policy for Burns. This increase of $97,837 has two components. The first component is the increase in project value from what was originally being implemented. And the second is the extension of the project timeline through calendar 25. There's a net increase to the budget for builder's risk of $31,400, which will be deducted from the owner contingency. This has been reviewed and approved by the bid review committee, who are the same folks as the change order committee, and we ask for your endorsement.
Thank you, Jack. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I think that was
Mr. Gary?
Mr.
Yeah,
Gary.
right.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Clark. Discussion? And just briefly on this one, this is one that we often ask for further clarification. So we did bounce this, so to speak, and we're required a little more information for the committee to understand the situation more. The risk department in the city of Hartford was able to provide more backup. With that backup, we were able to do a email vote, and we voted in favor of after the fact of that in-person virtual meeting last week. So the diligence was thorough on this one. That's all I have. Any other further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move on to roll call. Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Gary,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
and Mr. Corbin.
Yes.
Okay, with that, the motion carries. Okay, next on the agenda, everyone, is the project reports, 5B. Jack?
Thank you. Our project summary presently covers the anticipated completion dates and costs for both Buckley and Burns. Next slide. For our EEO status, we are consistently exceeding goal on Buckley. We are exceeding the MBE goal on Burns and are incrementally working our way up towards goal for Hartford residents. Again, even with the summer push at Burns, our areas of influence are fairly small, so there are very small crews on the site. So that component continues to be a struggle. Next slide. As to budget progress for Buckley High School renovation, we've paid to date 83.7 million of our 210 overall. There remains to be about 9 million unencumbered, which includes owner's contingency as well as items such as FF&E and technology. And for central admin, we paid to date about 18.5 of the 34.8. Unencumbered remains approximately $1.1 million for contingency, FF&E, and technology. Next slide. You can see from some of these images that there's quite a bit of work going on at Buckley. If you were to drive by, it's starting to look like a new facility. Is there a question? All right,
No, you're good.
okay, the phase 7 work is continuing per schedule. We're always looking for opportunities to catch up on schedule or do better. But right now we're strongly maintaining schedule, and the electrical switchgear remains a critical path item. Next slide. For Burns, we paid to date just over 34 million of our $64 million project. We have 10,000,006 unencumbered. That includes a significant increase to the owner contingency that was budgeted in the recent adjustment to the project cost. And as items such as those recently approved at our, as today's change orders come up in the scope of the project, those dollars have been put aside in the owner's contingency to handle those scope increases. Next slide. We have a number of areas, 4, 5, and 6 are active at the same time. Considerable amount of work being done over the summer. And we're looking at expediting such items as the dental suite furnishings so that we can restore those areas to use when the students return in the fall. So overall project progress at Burns is going well in spite of the increase in scope and the miscellaneous items that are being picked up under the new funds. Next slide. For Buckley, you can see we've got a lot of the same areas being worked on throughout the summer and into September. Large scopes of work, but we're making good progress. The work on the athletic fields is one of the most conspicuous, and we expect the rug to be down before school starts, but due to other areas of work associated with the stadium field, we will not be able to return that field to school use during this current school year. Next, please. Again, for Burns, a lot of asbestos focus early in the summer so that we can get areas ready for the next alterations while students are out of the building. We do anticipate some replanning of the delivery of spaces due to some encumbrances of unforeseen work. And by the time we are active into the school year, the level of activity will slow down once again due to the smaller bites we can take from the usable space in the building. Next slide. And we'll hand it over to Colliers for their reports.
Yeah, Jack, if I may, so just to further on the field, that's going to look enticing, right, to the community. Is it's an active construction site. There'll be work in and around that field for the remainder of the project. So we did discuss the project team if it was feasible to hand it over before handing over the school, but the safety concerns and for other reasons, the decision was made that was not a possibility.
Yes, accessing that portion of the site with the other construction going on is a risk. And there are continued activities there at the field, such as the press box and the bleachers that will be ongoing. And so having that work proceeding so close to the field makes it unwise to try to access the field this next year.
Thank you, Jack. All right. Item number 6 on the agenda, current projects under the design. I think we can probably say / construction. Colliers project leaders. 6A is project reports. Ray, Judy.
Good afternoon, everyone. So first item on our agenda is Vitansis Learning Lab. Currently paid to date, we're at $1,833,200. And we are currently in the process of CDs. We had ourselves as well as Van Zem, the commissioning agent, review the documents for the design review. We are currently in the process of the reconciliation that happened last week, and project is currently on budget. And for the final phase 1 GMP is currently being developed by Downs. At Vitansis, there was some tree removal on site, and the construction fence will be going up soon, as well as we are going to start preparing for the underground utilities for the temporary classrooms. And we are on schedule for a fall 2027 opening. Next slide. So as you can see, for MWBE contracting status report, we are at a total of 27%. This includes the 50% from the city as well as 5% for PLA. Next item. So as we go through Watance's schedule, we understand that we are in the process of reconciliation, and we will be reviewing those estimates with the city of Hartford as well as the Board of Education. Not the Board of Education, the public schools. After that, we are going to be setting up some advisory committee meetings, review of the CD drawings, as well as meeting with authorities having jurisdiction for their approvals. Those documents were sent out to them as well. We also will like to plan a meeting with the NRZ, as well as meeting with OGA to review the CD documents for phase 2 of construction. And as we continue to go through August and September, we'll be prepping for the temporary classrooms. Any questions or comments on Watance's? Okay. E.B. Kennelly, we are currently paid to date $2,115,300, and our budget is $88.13 million. We are also, the design documents were reviewed by Colliers as well as the commissioning agent. And we are close to budget for Kennelly. We're working on reviewing the documents and the drawings just to see if we can get back on budget. We will have a follow-up meeting this week to review the final reconciliation numbers. Same as Watance's, Downs is currently in the process of putting together a phase 1 GMP for E.B. Kennelly. And if you go by E.B. Kennelly, you will see that the construction fence has been put up, and we are currently in the process of coordinating the removal and relocation of the playscapes. And we are on schedule for fall 2027 opening. Next slide. So at E.B. Kennelly, we had a total of 41% of MWBE contractors as well as PLA participation. Next slide. E.B. Kennelly, we're also in the process of reconciliation. Like I said, we will be reviewing those numbers with the city of Hartford as well as Hartford Public Schools. And in August and September, there'll be a series of meetings with advisory authorities having jurisdiction, presentation to the NRZ, as well as reviewing the documents of phase 2 of construction with OGA. And we'll be working on prepping for the temporary classrooms. Any questions on E.B. Kennelly? All right. On to Freddie Wish. We are currently paid to date $1,290,500, and our project budget is $67.3 million. And the design team is currently in design development process. We're setting up meetings with security as well as the staff to review the documents and provide some more additional feedback to be able to design the building. We are currently in construction of the temp fencing has been put up as well as erosion control is in place. We have emptied out the building. So far, you can actually see pictures of the Wish School on the screen, and they're currently underway with abatement. And we are on schedule for a fall 2027 opening. Next slide. Wish, we are currently at a 35% participation from the city as well as PLA. Next slide. And like I said earlier, the design review meetings are taking place for the design development process. The abatement has started in the north wing of the Wish School. We are planning to have an NRZ meeting to do a presentation for so zoning soon, as well as abatement will continue in August and September. And we are planning to have a review of the design development package with the estimators in September. Any questions?
Yeah, I think a question for maybe Mr. Gary is I'm wondering if the Hartford Circus Memorial dedication service went okay without interruption. Did the construction get in the way? Anything you can share, Al?
Yes, definitely. I was thinking of that, Paul, just as you interjected your comment there is mine to thank all the work that Colliers Newfield did in accommodating that event. It was on July 6th, it was the Hartford Circus Fire annual, if you wish to call it a celebration, a recognition of that tragedy. It was very well done, and Colliers and everyone there made it very easy to access the location, and it just went very smoothly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gary. Appreciate you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you, Judy. All right, everyone, moving on to item number 7, current projects and startup, Arcadis ONG Nutmeg. 7A is action items. Jack, hello again.
Thank you. First item up today is a recommendation for award for architectural and engineering services for Moylan School. To recap, we have a total of 7 respondents to the package of 3 school design awards that design services awards that we're making. The choice was made to interview all 7 and receive fee proposals from all 7. At the end of interviews and deliberations, it was the recommendation of the selection committee to put forward the name of Silver Petroselli and Associates for this project at a total fee value, including allowances, of $5,727,287. We asked the full HSBC to approve the selection recommended by the selection committee so that we can issue the contract and get the designers started this month.
And there's a couple other recommendations, Jack, in here, perhaps?
Yes, we have all 3 schools as independent action items.
So the full recommendation, if you want to go back one, Kelly, please, and thank you. So let's see here. The HSBC authorizes the program manager and the Office of Corporation Counsel to facilitate, negotiate, and complete final contract with SPA, subject to and upon such terms and conditions the chairman of the HSBC and Corp Counsel deem appropriate and in the best interest of the HSBC and City of Hartford, and further authorizes the chairman to execute such contract. Additionally, the HSBC authorizes SPA to begin services immediately after notice to proceed to by the program manager in order to maintain project schedule. I just wanted to say that out loud. And with that, is there a motion?
Paul, if you can also say the final recommendation
sure.
for the HSBC.
Thank you, Emily. So concurrently, the finance department is authorized to issue a purchase order in the full contract amount of $5,727,287.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Gary, second?
Yes. Second.
Councilman Clark? Discussion? Hearing none, we'll go on to roll call. Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Gary?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
And Mr. Corbin?
Yes.
Right, with 4 yeses, the motion carries. Thank you. Jack, next.
Mr. Chair, during that vote, Ms. Browdy has joined the meeting.
Oh, okay.
I'll abstain, Mr. Chair.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Bradley. One
Next, we have a
abstention and-
recommendation for award of architectural and engineering services for the McDonough project. Next page. Again, similar background as Moylan, similar action item and explanation. The recommendation of the selection committee for the McDonough project is QA&M architecture in the amount of $3,320,585.
Thank you, Jack. Is there a motion?
So move.
Councilman Clark, second? Is that Mr. Silva for the second? Councilman Clark, Mr. Silva for the second. Discussion, please. Hearing none, we'll go on to roll call. Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Gary,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Mr. Corbin,
Yes.
and Ms. Rowdy.
Abstention.
Thank you. All right, with that, four yeses and one abstention, the motion carries. Jack?
Next, we have the recommendation award for architecture and engineering services for Parkville. The selection committee is recommending JCJ Architecture in the amount of $3,298,000.
Thank you, Jack. Is there a motion?
So move.
Councilman Clark, second.
Second.
Mr. Silva, discussion? Hearing none, we'll go on to roll call. Councilman Clark. I didn't hear anything audible, Councilman.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Gary,
Yes.
thank you. Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Mr. Corbin,
Yes.
and Ms. Rowdy.
Abstaining.
Thank you. All right, with 4 yeses and 1 abstention, the motion carries. All right, Jack. That's all for you, Jack?
That's all the action items. Just want to bring folks up to date with the architect selection now complete. Our next step is to issue the request for qualifications for construction managers. We should be finalizing the draft agreement and general conditions with Corporation Counsel this afternoon, which will allow that document to be published this week. So we expect that by the September meeting, we should have the CM selection process complete and have similar action items in front of the committee.
Thank you, Jack. All right, everyone, item number 8 on the agenda is future projects and development. Batchelder, Sand, and Sanchez. We hope to follow the same timeline we're on now. In the fall, OPM, turn of the year, architect into the CM. Any question on these 3 schools? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 9. That's project closeout, Weaver High School. So, an update on the fire alarm system. We are almost complete with the design. We'll do a cost estimate on professional cost estimate on what that design is going to cost, and then we'll look to see how we're going to get a contractor on board to start the work. At first hope, it was hoping that we'd be designed already and out to bid and have the work being done before the school starts again. It's looking like that we're probably going to ask for second shift differential so we can perform the work while the school is active. But again, we're moving forward to get these components to the satisfaction of Hartford Public Schools. Any questions on this? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 10, other business. I have none, and I'll just leave it open for anybody to comments. Hearing none.
Nothing from your side.
Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it. Item number 11 on the agenda, everybody, is adjournment. Is there a motion?
So move.
Thank you, Councilman Clark. Second.
Second.
Mr. Silva. Thank you. Discussion. Hearing none. Roll call. Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Gary.
Yes.
Mr. Silva.
Yes.
Mr. Corbin.
Yes.
And and Ms. Rowdy.
Yes.
Right. With that, the motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you. Bye now.
Bye.